Believe it or not, this is my fifth recording. Oh my goodness. So let's talk about Ty and Julie's relationship. Hey, hey, my name is Shauna A. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor, and from time to time, I give commentary on the Shauna the Mom series. And here we have a latest installment of Ty and Julie's background. So let's talk about it. In a way, I kind of feel like I'm Rafiki to Simba, the part of the movie where Simba is like, I don't see my father anyway. And Rafiki goes, look in the water. And Simba's like, I don't see it. And Rafiki says, look harder. It's all right there, y'all. This is so interesting about Ty and Julie's relationship. And there's so many things that I've seen. But one thing that I think is really important is that Ty shows exactly who he is from the beginning. And Julie totally missed it. She fell in love with his potential. And all along, Ty was going to use his charm to get his way. Right in that beginning scene, there was so much there. For instance, we get to see Ty, Julie, and Alicia. And in that moment with Julie and Alicia, we learn a couple of things. One, we know that Alicia has known Julie for a while because she says that she sees her at least once a year, and finally, that they can see each other every day instead of just once a year. We also learn that Julie ends up moving around a lot because she is an army brat. So she's a kid whose family or family member, somebody was in the military. They ended up moving around a lot. I think that's really important for us to understand more about Julie, and that likely Julie has been in places of suburbia all of her life. If you think about military bases, and not just bases, but the communities around bases where a lot of military folks live, that community itself, those are completely different communities than suburbia in itself. Those communities have a lot of regulations, there's a lot of cultural rules that happen in those communities. And I can understand why Julie has an understanding or a vantage point about stay at home moms or about suburbia that seems really harsh. It may have a lot to do with her upbringing, and that's probably why she rejects it. Also, remember that she's lived this all of her life. So, this is probably not going to seem all that extraordinary to her because that's what she's lived, that's what she's known. So she wants something different. And I don't think that's a wrong formulation for her to have. This is going to come into play later, though. Let's talk about Ty. In the same instance, we meet Ty. And one thing we have to know is that Ty has a lot of potential. He's also quite charming, but he's not actually living up to his potential. Well, we know this because he is in the same classes as Julie and Alicia. However, he's not doing the homework, he's not doing the work. He's copying Alicia, lying about it too, but copying Alicia as far as we can see. We also come to see that Julie has always wanted to become a lawyer and that her plan was to go to NYU and to become a lawyer. This is not a life plan. And I think it's really interesting that people keep saying, like, Julie never gave up the life plans. I actually think that Ty was the one who didn't give up on the life plans. I think Ty's plan was to coast and to stay exactly where he was, which there wasn't anything really wrong with if he wanted to stay where he was. But I think the wrong part was that he saw Julie, he saw her potential as well and what she wanted and her ambition. And he affixed himself to her, knowing good and well that that's not really what he wanted. I think she thought, ooh, he said he's going to write a book. Cool. Like he wants to be a world renowned author. I want to be a lawyer. We're going to go off and ride into the sunset and be great. And he is just like, I don't know, I could become an author. Maybe. We also see him start to push time in those moments as well. When he's like, how do I know what's going to happen in a couple of years? I've got 3 years to make a decision. And Julie, right there in freshman year, is like, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer and I'm going to NYU. But as we fast forward, another thing that I think is important that we see from really young is Julie's interaction with her friend group. So we know the friend group is actually Alicia and Sam. Melissa is Alicia's older sister. And what's important here is Julie is really curt with Alicia's older sister. I think that Alicia and Sam is enough for her as far as roots are concerned in making friends. And I think that she sees making friends as laying roots and she doesn't want to fix herself to anybody else. But she has to kind of accept Melissa because Melissa is Alicia's sister and Alicia and Melissa are close. Melissa is kind of a part of the group, but she's a lot more strict and stern with Melissa than she is with Alicia and Sam. And again, I think this is important because it tells us more about Julie. Julie is team no new friends. She doesn't want new friends. I think she doesn't want new friends because she doesn't want to get affixed to this particular area because she has a plan, and her plan is to become a lawyer and to move to New York. So here we are. They're at school. Big things that Julie says is the world is mine. I can do anything. I can make my own decisions. I want to travel. I think when she said that she wants to travel, she wanted to travel with her job supporting her or with the lifestyle that comes with being a lawyer in her mind. I don't think it was that I want to put off becoming a lawyer to travel. And we kind of see this later on. The other thing, though, is that I don't think her intention was to travel long term. I think it was just, I want to be able to make my own decisions and kind of do the things that I want to do, and that is see places. But Ty loves this, right? He loves the wonderment in her eyes. This is like the first time that we see Julie like not do something that's really structured. Most of the time, she's fairly structured and regiment. We see her running. Running has always been an outlet, a thing for her. And I think that it's really important to understand that she wanted to get married, but she already knew, like, I don't know if this is the best idea, but Ty charmed her and he told her, we can do both. So I think the things that are really important that we know is that the idea was always that we would do both, not one or the other. But the choices that they made later on often was one or the other for Julie. Also, I think the thing that we know is that Ty often masked himself as, I want the same things as you would say. Not from this episode, but the episode with Julie and Alicia. I think it was at Max's birthday party, or maybe even before then, when Julie questioned, what are we doing? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you making friends with these people? And he was like, they're nice. And she said, we always made fun of these people. This is not what we wanted. This is not extraordinary. I think that they always made fun of suburbia because Julie never wanted to be in suburbia. And I think that Ty masked what he really wanted by participating in making fun of these people too. And this led Julie to believe that we're on the same page. Ty decides to drop out, and he drops out with the premise of if he's not in class, he can make money while also not having to study so that he can write. So he's still telling Julie that he wants to write. But I think the big thing here is he says, and I can save money so that we could travel. If anything, people have said time and time again, oh, it is Julie who never gave up the plan, or she never dropped the plan from when they were in high school. I think this is a call to Ty not dropping what Julie said from 2 years ago. She's in the middle of college and he tells her, oh, we can travel. And she says, travel? I'm going to law school. Well, you said, remember, we're going to live the big life, baby. Let's live the big life. I don't want to take off. Lots of people take a gap year, which is true. I took a gap year. But she didn't want to do that. She wanted to go straight through. And she changed her plan for him, who called back a plan that she had 2 years ago that no longer applied. So they take a year off. They get back. And not only did they take a year off, she took 2 more years off because Ty decided that he was going to go back to school. So Ty finishes up school and Julie works so that they could save money to buy a house. Now that they have saved up, Ty is graduated. He only needed 2 more years. So now that they have saved up and have enough money to buy a house, they have a new plan. 3 years. The new plan is 3 years to save up to pay off the loans from Ty getting back into school and from this house that they just bought. And in that, this third time when she goes to her friends and they're like, you're taking off more time. And she's like, yeah, Ty's in school. It'll be easier, blah, blah, blah. I thought you said you wanted to move to New York when she said that she was going to buy a house. Property is good investment. I think her thought process was, we can buy this house so that we can sell it so that it can offset our life into going to New York. The house was never meant to be Roots. The house was an investment, but it became Roots. So now here they are, about 28 years old, and she's finally in law school. And what happens? She's pregnant. And now we start to see the panic set in on Julie's face. Ty's ecstatic. Woohoo! But she works her through 2 years to law school. And then we see she's exhausted, she's crying, she's tired. And then Ty takes over. Another important thing, from the moment that Ty takes over, right? We're about 7, 8 years of offsetting what the initial plan is. From the moment that Ty takes over, it's 4 years before they put Cooper in school. And then one more year after Sasha. So we're about 13, 14 years that they've been putting the big dream of moving to New York on hold, primarily because of Ty. And then Cooper happened. We are 13 years along, and Ty has not written a book yet. So when it comes to Julie going and getting that agent, she's thinking, oh, this is going to move him along. This is going to help him. This is going to give him a deadline. He rejects it completely. I think he rejects it because he never wanted to write that book in the first place. And he gave up writing back in college when he went on a hiatus. So now here we are, years later, and he still doesn't want to write that book. But now he has an excuse. He has an excuse of his own child. Julie says something that I think is really important. She says, we should put him in preschool because he needs the social skills. Ty is clearly getting overwhelmed. He can't write because he is home with Cooper. And now he's to the point where he's leaving Cooper alone in a room for 30 minutes, which is not terrible. But he might not be as overwhelmed if Cooper was in childcare. So Julie provides a solution. Let's put him in childcare. Ty doesn't want to do that. Ty is using Cooper as a means to not to write, just as he's always found a reason to not write. So when he comes to Julie and she has to go take care of his mom, and he says, I hope you know this means I can't write, it's always meant that he can't write. He's always found an excuse to not write. We know he wasn't going to write when they were on a road trip for a year. He wasn't going to write when he was back in school because he said he couldn't write while he was in school. I don't know if he wrote while he was working, but it seems like he always had a reason to not do it. And now here comes kids, and he doesn't want to put the children in preschool. But when Julie gives something that is really important, he needs the social skills. What does Ty do? He takes Cooper to the park. And lo and behold, you run into other stay-at-home parents at the park. So Ty starts making friends, but he lies and says that he met another guy. And Julie gets excited. Oh, he's an engineer. Maybe this engineer will be an influence to you to do more. But no, he didn't meet an engineer at the park. He met Shauna. And remember, he was seeking out Shauna. He went on Facebook and became Facebook friends with Shauna and asking Shauna for park dates. Now, we know that Shauna and Ty are just friends, but Ty is using Shauna. Ty is using Shauna and Cooper, going to the park, giving Cooper those social skills that Julie said that Cooper needed to have. Instead of putting him in preschool, he's bringing Cooper to the park so he doesn't write. And he's also lying about it to Julie. So then when he starts to tell Shauna things about Julie, and Shauna trying to make friends with Julie, Julie is off put by this because, oh my goodness, what are you doing making roots with these people? Oh my goodness, why does this person know so much about me? Oh, she's just nosy, right? I don't know. She's just all up in the Kool-Aid, right? She's all up in the business. I think the smug look that Julie gave to Shauna was because she really saw that it wasn't Shauna that was pulling him in. It was Ty that was pulling in Shauna. It was Ty that was using Shauna and her children and the kids to make an excuse to not write. But of course, Julie participated this as well. She is just as responsible for offsetting her plans. Could she have gone about not wanting to be friends with Shauna better? Probably. But I think that for her, she had lived this life. She didn't want this life and she openly rejected it. I think that happens all the time. But I think that Ty was pulling her more and more and more into this life. And I think he should have been honest from the get go. I think he knew for a long time that he never wanted to write that book. And I think he also saw that Julie was always going to pursue this life. And I think he tried to affix himself to Julie to be on the go with her. But what he wanted was to settle. And he was hoping that she would settle too. And she just never wanted that. It was such an interesting thing. And I think it's a tall tale sign of what it means to see somebody's potential, but not actually see who they are and what they're putting out there, or not allowing for them to actualize that potential before you connect yourself to them permanently. I really enjoyed this episode because it gave us so much nuance and so much to go with when it comes to Ty and Julie. And I was right. I did say that Ty has been lying and that Ty is making Julie believe it's one thing when it's actually another, and that he never really had the balls to say that he, in fact, didn't want the same life that she was. He just wanted her around and he preferred to have that life here in suburbia. And he knew that is absolutely not what she wanted. And I think if he had told her sooner, she probably would have left. If she saw it for what it was, she may have left sooner. But the information that she kept receiving from him was that they could have what they both wanted. And what they both wanted was to not live in this life, but to be in the big city. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on this episode, and I will see y'all next time. Bye for now.